My name is Mira. I'm 34 years old. I live in a quiet neighborhood outside the city with my husband Ray. We've been married for 8 years. We don't have children. Not yet. We've been trying, but it hasn't happened. Still, I try to smile. I keep our home warm. I cook his favorite meals. I wait for him when he works late. He says he's busy with clients, with charity drives, with fundraisers. Ray is the kind of man people admire. Charming. Generous. Always helping someone. Lately, he's been buying a lot of toys. Small things, cars, puzzles, soft animals. He pays in cash. When I ask, he smiles and says, "They're for the children's shelter downtown." First, I believed him. He's done this before. But something feels different now. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. The receipts are gone. He hides the bags in the trunk, only bringing them inside when I'm in the shower or cooking. One night, I caught him washing a small pink cup in the sink. Picked it up. It said Daddy's Girl. He froze. "It was donated," he said quickly. I didn't want to throw it away. I smiled, but inside I felt cold. I started watching more closely. His phone was always face down. His texts came late at night. He started locking his office at home. And then one Sunday afternoon, I saw him across the street at the shelter. I had taken a walk alone. He hadn't seen me. He knelt down to speak to a small girl with curly hair and bright eyes. She laughed and hugged him tight. She called out clear as day, "Bye, Daddy." Ray didn't correct her. He smiled. He kissed her forehead. And I stood there shaking, the world shifting under my feet. I didn't confront him that night. I couldn't. I came home before he did, sat on the edge of our bed, and stared at the wall until the lamp turned itself off. My thoughts were louder than any argument I could have started. Why did she call him Daddy? Was it just affection? A mistake? Or was it something deeper? Ray came home late. He smelled like the same cologne he always wore, but something about it felt different. Like the scent had covered a secret. He kissed my cheek, asked about dinner, laughed at a show on TV. And I sat there beside him, smiling with my lips and bleeding inside. For the next morning, I went to the shelter. Alone. I didn't know what I was looking for. Answers, maybe. Or just someone to confirm that I wasn't losing my mind. The woman at the front desk looked kind. She smiled when I said I was there to learn more about volunteering. "I think my husband already does some work here," I said carefully. "His name is Ray." "Oh yes," she said brightly. "Mr. Ray comes often. Very generous. He always brings toys, books, snacks. And of course he's very close to Lila." "Lila?" I asked, my heart hammering. She turned her screen slightly toward me. There was a photo, the little girl from before. The one with the curly hair. She was smiling up at the camera, holding a teddy bear I had seen in our garage 2 weeks ago. "She's been here for about 6 months, the woman explained. "Lovely child. Very sweet." She took to him quickly. I nodded slowly, forcing my lips to curl. "And her mother?" The woman's smile faded. "Passed away in an accident. No known family. We're working on placement options now." I thanked her and walked out. My legs felt like they didn't belong to me. I reached my car, closed the door and sat in silence. If Ray wasn't her father, he would have said so. If it was a misunderstanding, he wouldn't have hidden it. I drove home in silence, numb and hollow. That evening, I set the table like always. Biryani. His favorite. He came home on time, kissed my cheek, washed his hands and sat down. "Looks amazing," he said. "Long day." I nodded. "I stopped by the shelter today." His fork froze midair. "I wanted to help," I said quietly. "Seems like you already are." He slowly set the fork down. His eyes met mine. For once he didn't smile. "Mira," he began. "Is she yours?" I asked. "The little girl. Lila. Are you her father?" He looked down. then back up, and said the one word that broke everything. Yes. I stared at him, waiting for the tears to come. But they didn't. What do you mean, yes? I whispered. He sighed, rubbed his face like he was trying to peel the truth off his skin. Before we met, before you, there was someone. Her name was Samira. It wasn't serious. At least I didn't think so. We dated for a few months and then she left. No explanation. I didn't hear from her again. I said nothing. Just stared. She never told me she was pregnant, he continued. Not once. I didn't know about Lila until 6 months ago. After Samira passed, her friend reached out. Told me there was a little girl who had no one left. And you just took her toys in secret? I asked, my voice shaking. You kept her in the shadows? Why? Because I didn't know what to do, Mira, he said, voice cracking. You've wanted a baby for years. I didn't know how to tell you that I already had one. That while we were crying in doctors' offices, wondering what was wrong with us, there was a child out there calling someone else dad. Someone who wasn't even me. My hands were cold. My throat burned. You didn't trust me, I said softly. You trusted strangers at the shelter more than your own wife. He looked devastated. I was afraid. Of hurting you. Of breaking us. I stood slowly, my hands trembling. You didn't break us by being a father. You broke us by hiding it. He reached for me. Mira, please. But I stepped back. Because in that moment, love didn't feel like enough. I walked out of the room and shut the door behind me. Not because I hated him, but because I needed to hear my own thoughts for the first time in days. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed alone. Ray didn't come in. I didn't ask him to. The house felt cold, even though it was summer. My chest ached like something had fallen into it, something heavy and sharp. I thought about all the years we tried. The tests. The waiting. The hope that came and went like wind. I thought about how Ray held my hand when the doctor said, it might not happen naturally. And all that time, he had a child. A living, breathing child. A little girl who called him Daddy. And I had never even seen her face until now. The next morning, I called my sister. Her name is Sana. She lives nearby. She knows me better than anyone. When I told her, she gasped. Wait, he has a child? I nodded slowly, even though she couldn't see me. She's real. Her name is Lila. He met her 6 months ago. He's been visiting her, buying her things, holding her, hiding it all from me. Sana was quiet for a long time. Then she said what I feared she would say. Mira, don't leave him. I closed my eyes. You don't understand. I do, she whispered. But he didn't cheat. He didn't lie about who he was. He just didn't know how to tell you. Maybe he was protecting you in the wrong way, yes. But maybe his heart was still in the right place. I'm the one who needed protecting, I said. And he left me in the dark. She sighed. Think about what's next. Think about that little girl. Is she going to lose 2 mothers now? I didn't want to think about Lila. But I did. I thought about her curly hair. Her tiny voice. The way she ran into his arms. The way he smiled at her. Was it love? Was it guilt? Was it both? A few days passed. Ray stayed in the guest room. We barely spoke. He didn't beg. He didn't defend himself again. He just gave me space. I couldn't cry. The tears had stopped. My pain was dry now. Like a well with no water. But I still felt it deep and strong. Then one morning, a small white envelope arrived. No name. No return address. Inside was a drawing. Crayons on paper. A house. A sun. A stick figure woman with long black hair. Beside her, a smaller figure with curly brown hair. Underneath in shaky letters, Mira and me. Lila. I stared at it for a long time. My hands shook. She knew my name. She had drawn us together. That afternoon I drove back to the shelter. Lila was in the playroom. She saw me through the glass and smiled like she'd seen the moon. I walked in slowly. She ran to me. "Your daddy's Mira," she said happily. "I made you a picture." I knelt down. "I got it. It was beautiful." She touched my hand. "Are you going to live with us?" I swallowed. "Would you like that?" She nodded. "Yes. Because you're pretty and nice. And Daddy smiles more when he talks about you." That night I sat Ray down. "I saw her today," I said quietly. He looked surprised. "You did?" "She drew me," I whispered. "She wants me in her life." His eyes filled with tears. "Mira, I never asked you to be her mother. I never wanted to hurt you. I just didn't know how to do it right." I nodded. "You failed. But not completely." He wiped his eyes. "I'll do whatever you need. If that means letting you go, I'll let you. If it means starting again, I'll wait forever." I looked at him for a long time. And for the first time in weeks I saw not the man who lied but the man who loved. Clumsily. Deeply. Desperately. "I haven't made my decision yet," I said. "But I want to know her." He nodded. "That's all I can ask." Weeks passed. Every Saturday I went to see Lila. First I was careful, slow. I didn't want to force anything. But she made it easy. She talked like a waterfall, showed me her books, her dolls, her favorite pink shoes. She told me about her mom too, Samira. Said she was beautiful and smelled like roses. One day she asked, "Do you like roses too, Mira?" I smiled and said, "Yes. I like whatever you like." She grinned and hugged me. She had no idea how much I needed that hug. Ray waited. He never rushed me. Never pushed. He stayed in the guest room for months. He cooked dinner sometimes. Cleaned up without saying a word. Walked silently behind me like a man hoping not to disturb a sleeping bird. Once I found him asleep on the couch holding a small photo, Lila in his arms. He was still wearing the same wedding ring. So was I. One evening, I was brushing Lila's hair when she looked at me in the mirror and asked, "Can I call you Mama Mira?" The brush stopped in my hand. I looked into her eyes, those soft brown eyes that looked too much like his. Like mine. Like something I didn't give birth to but maybe could still grow into. "You can," I whispered. "If you want to." She leaned back into me. "I want to." That night I sat alone in my car for an hour. Then I went home, walked to the guest room and opened the door. Ray looked up surprised. "Move back to our room," I said. "But only if you're ready to tell the truth. Every time. About everything." His voice broke. "I will. I swear." "Mira, I missed you." I held up my hand. "Not everything is fixed. But I'm trying. Not for you. Not even for me. For her." He nodded slowly. "For her." We didn't go back to how we were. We built something new. Some days I still got angry. I still remembered the hiding, the silence, the lies. I still hurt. But then I'd hear Lila giggle in the next room, or see her asleep on his chest, and I'd remember. Sometimes healing doesn't mean forgetting. Sometimes love survives by growing roots in the broken places. 1 year later we adopted Lila officially. We stood in front of the judge holding hands, 3 of us. She wore a blue dress with sunflowers. I wore white. Ray cried the whole time. I held his hand anyway. Afterward we went home. Lila ran into her room and brought out the drawing again, the one she made of me and her. "I want to make a new one," she said. This time she drew all 3 of us. And she labeled it in her uneven handwriting, "My Real Family." Final lines for narration. Slowly, softly, I didn't become a mother the way I thought I would. And he didn't become a father the way he planned. But somehow, we found each other. And we found her. Not through perfection, but through pain, patience, and truth. Moral message. Sometimes truth comes late. Sometimes love gets messy. But when you choose honesty, healing, and second chances, you might still find something real, something worth holding on to.